Hello everyone. My name is Vamsi and I'm the Chief Executive Founder for Nuacem AI. Nuacem AI is a cloud communications company, and I'm going to take you through certain things which are more important on the communication side of BFSI. So the idea is basically to kind of present something on the CPaaS side. So I'm not sure how many of you know or understand CPaaS. I know the digital experts are already here. CPaaS is basically communication platform as a service, and we're kind of looking at how this CPaaS can be transformed intelligently, and end of the day, how intelligent CPaaS can kind of help BFSI to translate and transform the communication cloud for them. So just to give a brief who we are, SmartPing and Nuacem, we are partners with respect to CPaaS and conversational cloud here. So we bring CPaaS capabilities from SmartPing's end, where the APIs and everything are there, and we also add intelligence to it from a conversational AI standpoint, which is through Nuacem AI. So there are imminent challenges, and in fact, every one of us know. So there are customer engagement challenges. So this is basically a study which has been done by certain organizations, which says very clearly that 81% of the company or the consumers complain about how difficult it is to communicate with the businesses. And I think it has been very evident, right? Even if you have a smallest of the possible issue, you go to the bank or you go to any enterprise, it takes a long time for that to be resolved. So that is most important thing, the issue. And then 97% of consumers, they say that they'll do more business with the companies when they kind of receive a quick response. That is on the, again, a communication benefit if it is kind of quick and easy. Then 33% of customers, they are kind of even ready to forego the service or the company, and they can go to the competitor if the services are not that great or it is a negative experience. It is from a NPS standpoint. So how do you kind of define on the customer satisfaction versus returns, the ROI which the shareholders have to kind of genuinely get? So ROI is one big thing for the shareholders, and if your NPS is on the higher side, the returns for the shareholders are always on the higher side. I think that's the most important thing when it comes to even public companies or for any private company from a valuation standpoint. So here, if you look at, this is a graph which has been kind of brought out by McKinsey, and they're clearly listing out how your NPS is going to impact the revenue earnings from a share perspective. And we can clearly see the graph says that higher the NPS, you'll have higher the revenues per share. Now, what we are looking at is CPaaS. It used to be like treated as a developer-driven kind of an engagement, okay? Because a lot of APIs were involved, be it on the text side, video, or voice side of it. But that's eventually changing, and it is becoming more business-friendly, and it is obvious thing that we have to consider CPaaS from a transformation side of it. So this is something which very clearly says that it is no more a developer-driven engagement, but it is a business-driven engagement. So what does intelligent CPaaS do, or what we kind of power is a digital-first experience. And as part of digital-first experience, there are quite a few things which are offered. So primarily, the low-hanging fruits will be through chatbots, be it on web, mobile, or any digital channel. In fact, one of the panel members were mentioning they have rolled out a WhatsApp service, and it has impacted them a lot in a positive way. So deflection from IVR to chat, which is IVR to chat is voice to text channel. So basically, you have a lot of savings on that side when your voice process, cost of voice process goes down, and your chat, which is fairly cheaper than voice. So that is another important element. Then providing better context to the agents, the human agents who are serving your enterprise. Live chat, obviously, which is there on every possible website these days, or through OTT channels. OTT is like your digital channels like WhatsApp or Facebook or any other line of messenger or anything. Then you have digital outbound notifications, both through live voice as well as text mediums, that is your SMS and notifications. So that is the digital first experience which the end customers want to receive. And obviously the way they want to receive it is through any digital engagement touch point. And we are here to transform that using intelligent CPaaS. So how do we do it? This is a framework for intelligent CPaaS. We bring the AI fabric or the AI layer, the communication layer on top of the traditional CPaaS, and we try to build a system where your CPaaS is more intelligent enough and kind of, or you can even call it as a cognitive kind of capabilities embedded into CPaaS. So if you look at from a CPaaS standpoint, we are driving it in 3 stages. One is at the engage, then advance, and the last one is innovate. So I'll take you through 3 different phases here. The first one is the engage side of it. There are a lot of use cases on the engage side. That is where the businesses, or especially from a banks or BFSI standpoint, will engage the end customers. It can be through different segments, right? It can be on the automated side. You blast a lot of emails, be it on the offers, be it on the transactions or anything. Then your virtual agents coming into picture. Then you have real-time sentiment analysis, which is one of the driving aspects for understanding how your conversation and your engagement with the end customers are behaving. Then you have live monitoring, compliances, skill-based routing. So all these digital aspects are very important when you're driving sensible communications. And I believe if there is intelligence embedded into it, obviously there's a lot of scope that you can transform the end user experience. From an advanced standpoint, how a CPaaS, which is intelligent enough, can kind of drive is, these days we are integrating a lot of communication protocols and communication mediums into your digital offerings like WhatsApp, Instagram messaging. This is a new model of service engagement, right? And then you have, obviously you have the ability to add audio, video, and conferencing capabilities. That's from a CPaaS video and audio capability, which has been there. Traditionally, we've been using it for ages. But now a lot of things are happening in the background from an intelligence and emotion standpoint. Then the next one is cloud IVR and automated data acquisition. So cloud IVR is interesting because these days a lot of deflection capabilities are coming into picture. Not just that, but on top of it, conversational commerce. I believe a lot of banks, insurance companies are already using. In fact, we have been building conversational commerce for a lot of BFSI segment companies, both the aggregators and the companies, where the end users can do payments directly on a WhatsApp channel or on a Facebook channel. Even though we don't provide the underlying infrastructure, we enable those payments so that the end users can leverage that. Collecting data, which is very important in an automated fashion, be it through RPA, be it through AI, or some sort of a mechanism where you can collect data and publish it to your third-party systems or your internal systems, where you can leverage that information to build your next set of insights and do the next set of actions based on that data. Innovation is very recent and it is happening at a very rapid pace, be it on the conversational AI side or be it on building workflows which are intelligent in nature. Text messaging, so earlier it used to be like you have to have one particular number to kind of send your text, and then for calling you have to have another number, but with the changing dynamics and certain laws and regulations, right? Today you have a very much a verified number which you're sending out your messaging, and people know that if that is coming through that particular number, it is a valid number and valid message. So people are kind of taking your messages seriously. Spam is reduced. So there are intelligent aspects which are coming into picture. Again, IoT is one big trend which is coming these days. Obviously, you can do banking from anywhere, not just from the end user perspective, but from the organization's perspective also. Today, if your employees are working from home, so there is a means that what is happening, right? Alexa devices are enabled, your home devices are enabled from every single touch point, right? Digital touch point. So that is from the IoT standpoint. How do we do that? So importantly, what is BFSI industry looking at when it comes to communication platforms? So to put forward here, I have three aspects. One, easy to use AI. Most of the time, companies prefer no code sort of a capability. And then one platform and every channel. So you kind of deploy on one single platform or use it once, and you can kind of cascade it to every channel which is available. The third one is orchestration. Orchestration is all about building the experience. So if you look at what is important is you have from the first one, ease of use and no code kind of a scenario. It is simply easy to kind of build that, and where you can maintain it, build it. Not every time a no code kind of works, because there are certain complexities which are from an organization standpoint where there is a need for a developer to kind of come in and do whatever they have to do. But most of the time, that is a possible aspect that we can kind of go towards no code and build experiences. Then agility is another aspect. Everybody wants instantly you want the results. So we need to be agile with respect to the product what we have, where we can kind of change as required from a business standpoint. Business processes change, and we need to ensure that that changes on the system side also. Incredibly smart. Obviously, we'll have a lot of learning loops in the system where you can capture your feedbacks, you can improve upon the feedbacks, you can kind of make sure that your agents learn, your systems learn, and the same information is fed back to your system so that it becomes more and more optimized. So how do we do that? So this is important on what we provide as a company. Nuacem and SmartMing have partnered here to build this entire experience in a very sensible fashion. We have the ability today to connect with disparate systems. It can be any system, but as long as there is an available API out there, we have the ability to integrate that. And then we orchestrate those solutions and experiences on our platform. So it is a single platform where you have the ability to build any kind of a workflow as long as that is pertaining to communications. Then we integrate with the foundation layer, which is CPass. So I'll give you one example. Let's say most of the time banks send out an SMS. I'm not talking about transactional. Say, let's say we'll talk about some sort of an offer which is promotional. They just send out a notification, and a user reads it or he doesn't read it, doesn't matter. How many have been delivered is the only thing which most of the time enterprises are concerned. But how do you kind of engage the user after you send it, right? There should be a way where you can kind of experience or kind of build a flow to ensure that that particular SMS which you have sent, which is having certain cost associated, is paying you back. There is an ROI. Now, we have the ability on our orchestration platform to build not just one hit out, but the absolute way to kind of engage and re-engage and retarget the user depending on what SMS has gone out and what is the next set of best possible actions which can be taken on the customer side. So that's the orchestration capability which is there on the platform. Now, once it is integrated with the CPaaS, whatever I've kind of mentioned, be it on the text side or voice side or a video side, we go ahead and deploy it on the live environment. And that is where you will see the results, alpha beta kind of a scenario, and you see the results that you're transforming your user engagement and experience. Sending out communications, and that to smart communications, is fantastic, but security is something which is more important than what you're sending and how you're sending. So on our platform, we have 5 layers of security protocol which is built. One at the interface level. As long as the system supports the interface, we have the ability to mask the information, be it the PII information or any sensitive information can always be masked at the interface level. Second, in transit. So when the information is kind of sent from the interface to the backend systems. So most of the time, everyone says, hey, we have SSL. Having an SSL is something which is one step of security, but when the transit data is moving between 2 points, are we kind of securing that data even on the SSL side of it? So we kind of encrypt the data and send it in the tunnel. And once the tunnel is kind of ended, right, there you again kind of decrypt it and use it however you want. But when it comes to rest, right, there is a third level which is at the rest. Now DB level security is very important. The encrypted data which goes and kind of is decrypted there, we again re-encrypt it so that when the data is residing on the DB side of it, it is completely encrypted with a military grade kind of an encryption. The last one is we encrypt it and we generate a public key which is rehashed. It is not just a kind of encryption. We rehash the key and then we give it to the custodian of the data in any enterprise. Most of the time in large banks, it will be maybe a CIO or a CISO who will be handling that responsibility, and the key is handed over to them where only that particular entity can kind of use or decrypt the data. So it's more important when you're having sensibly sensitive data which is being traveling here and there, back and forth. The last slide, an important thing where how we kind of do this product offering is we have a large set of offering. So CPaaS, UCaaS, CCaaS, and VCaaS. So CPaaS is communication platform as a service. UCaaS is unified communication where you have a lot of conferencing, video engagement within your team and outside your team, co-browsing, collaboration, and all that. Then CCaaS is most of the organizations, large organizations obviously have contact centers, right? So we have the ability to kind of intelligently transform the contact centers, and that's the layer or the fabric which we kind of lay on top of a traditional contact center. Then VCaaS is video collaboration as a service. Again, it's part and parcel of UCaaS, but from a video collaboration, it takes a larger kind of a capacity from a streaming point of view or from a recording and kind of extracting the voice and video streams to kind of do further analysis. So that is also another service. And all this is possible via APIs. So if you see, the entire thing is API-driven engagement, but it'll be kind of an environment where you don't need to deploy too many number of developers from your end. Is it a kind of an environment you want to prefer, whether there are a lot of developers involved, or it's a hands-off environment? So most of the time whenever I speak, right, it is a hands-off environment which the customers are preferring. So we're looking at a way where it is possible to kind of just configure your endpoints, and that is all your banks have to do, where the rest will be taken care by a platform which we are delivering. So that is the consolidated offering we are bringing from a CPaaS standpoint, which is more intelligent in nature. So this is exactly what we wanted to present and see how the banks can kind of use or leverage, be it we as a vendor or any vendors who you are currently engaging and leveraging, probably should over a period of time bring this experience to the bank so that the dependency on the vendors or the technology for your people goes down and the efficiency goes up. So this is a landscape which probably internally you can check, and we'll also reach out to you if there is a need for, and we can kind of engage further in the coming sessions. Thank you. Any questions? I'm happy to take, probably after lunch. Yeah, sure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Requesting Dr. Ravi Gupta to please present a memento and, of course, the newest edition of the Banking and Finance Post to Mr. Yeluri.